The atmosphere, everything in your sight, is caked in dust. The heat is unbearable. You're alive 3 hours after the end of the world. But the fact that you're still breathing doesn't make you one of the lucky ones. To understand why, we have to go back to the moment that an asteroid crashed into Earth. An asteroid 7 miles wide enters the Earth's atmosphere. It's a supersonic space rock, approximately the same size as the one that scientists believe put an end to the dinosaurs. Due to its sheer size, the asteroid would appear to travel incredibly slowly, a steady approach to the naked eye. But put a speedometer up next to this thing, and you're looking at a rate of over 40,000 miles per hour. This is what we call an extinction-level event. Hour 1 begins. The asteroid heads directly for Paris, France. A blinding light, one brighter than the sun, appears before your eyes. Within seconds, this intergalactic giant smashes into our planet's surface. With it, the asteroid brings energy, the amounts of which are almost unfathomable. Even an asteroid just 1 mile wide would bring energy equal to a 1 million megaton bomb. The atomic bomb that devastated Nagasaki in August of 1945 and claimed the lives of 226,000 people had the estimated blast energy of around 21 kilotons. For 1 megaton, you need 1,000 kilotons, and to get to the energy of our asteroid, you need 1 million of those. Upon impact, a tremendous dome of smoke and fire grows out of the ground. A wall of flames spreads in every direction. All life within a 1,000-kilometer radius, or around 600 miles, is quickly extinguished thanks to the shockwave created by the collision. All living things within the blast radius are vaporized instantly. Millions of people lose their lives, and many of Europe's most iconic cities and nations are wiped off the map within seconds. If this were to touch down in Los Angeles, Hollywood would be history, as would cities as far away as Phoenix, Arizona, Denver, Colorado, Seattle, Washington, and almost half of Texas. If you're lucky enough to be standing just outside of the impact zone and some of your city is still intact, you and your loved ones now may as well be standing on the surface of the sun. That is how hot it's going to get. Even those people 1,000 miles away from ground zero would be incinerated before they had a chance to get to safety. The thing is, with an asteroid this size, there are now very few places left on planet Earth where anyone is safe. The insane levels of heat brought on by the blast cause forests to spontaneously combust. Fire engulfs any living thing in its path, while people in cities still standing attempt to find shade from the immense temperatures. Clothes ignite in an instant and melt off. Many suffer third-degree burns all over their bodies. Even for people far away, such as those in New York City, or even in India, will soon feel the unbearable heat. And though it will not prove fatal for them just yet, they are in no way a safe distance away from the blast. The asteroid has smashed a hole where Paris once stood. The resulting shockwave is more violent than any earthquake in recent history. Debris fires into the sky, so high in fact that much of it leaves the Earth's atmosphere and heads back into space. Now hold on a second, this can't be the end of the world as we know it, right? With our technology, is there not a way that we could protect ourselves, or even prevent a disaster of this scale from ever happening? NASA's expert named DART, the Double Asteroid Redirection Test, was sent into space in November of 2021. Its mission: to change the path of a small asteroid. There's no chance of this rock ever hitting our planet, but NASA's test was to ensure the technology exists should we ever need it. But what if there was simply no way to avoid an asteroid colliding with our planet? You're probably thinking that we could all just get underground and wait for the damage to blow over. This is actually the only way that much of humanity would survive. But be sure to build your bunkers a long way from the crash site, because when it hits, it will make a hole in the Earth 20 kilometers deep. And no one is digging that far down. 10 minutes after impact, the debris from the initial impact re-enters the atmosphere, raining destruction down on the land. The deadly lumps of burning rock fall on cities on the outskirts of the blast radius. Oslo, Lisbon, Stockholm, Rome, all are within range. This proceeds to finish off what's left of major cities and their infrastructures, while the fires continue to blaze across Europe, and people and many animals succumb to heat stroke and horrible burns. 30 minutes after impact, 600-mile-an-hour winds lay waste to what's left standing. Any trees that remain are ripped from the dirt and flung into a dangerous whirlwind. A tsunami as tall as the Eiffel Tower wages war with everything in its path. Hour 2 begins. Europe is destroyed. Wildfires rage throughout the continent. Entire cities have been reduced to rubble. Luscious greenery is turned to black. Every living thing in Paris is no more, and much of life as far as London, Luxembourg, and Dusseldorf has perished. Luckily for you, you're far enough away that you may have seen many of the buildings in your city destroyed. You're surrounded by survivors. This may seem a good thing, though sadly, not everyone left alive is going to have an equal shot. Any resources left are going to evaporate. Any space left underground is going to fill up. Not everyone is going to last another trip around the clock face. Hour 3 begins. Ash appears to hang in the air, replacing our once blue skies with darkness. But though it may appear stationary, it sprinkles into the ocean like a poisonous salt shaker, inflicting devastating damage on entire ecosystems. The ash acidifies the top layers of the sea, killing ocean life. Acid rain showers those left on land, as animals desperately search for ways to prolong their now short lifespans. Earth has faced similar adversaries before. In fact, some of the species that we now share the planet with have too. 66 million years ago, an asteroid made contact with Earth. Scientists cite this as the big one that killed off the dinosaurs. So after the asteroid wipes us out, who takes over? How about this little guy? Cockroaches are famously resilient. What killed the dinosaurs wasn't enough to stop them. And while a can of bug spray is enough to send one of these creepy crawlies to the graveyard, the roaches would likely be one of the few species left standing, or perhaps scurrying, after an extinction-level event like our asteroid. Roaches will eat almost anything, so as much of life starves in the aftermath of the impact, cockroaches will be happily chomping away on anything from cardboard to animal excrement. Hour 160 begins. It's now been 1 week since the end of the world as we know it. Our planet has been plunged into darkness. Plants yearn for sunlight that isn't coming, and temperatures are now freezing no matter where you are. This is a new ice age, and 70% of all life on Earth won't live to see another 12 months. As plants are deprived of the sunlight they require to survive, they perish, as do those animals that feed on those plants. And then, of course, this food chain continues. Your only hope is to stay underground. Keep those cans of food close and pray that the freezing temperatures don't pry their icy fingers into your bunker door and let the fatal cold inside. Hour 8,670 begins. It's been 1 year since a space rock smashed into the planet you call home. Winter still hangs its frosty hat over the entire world. The ash from all the devastation hangs in the atmosphere. If you've survived this long, it means you're underground. The world above ground is inhospitable. and the cold clutch of winter will not cease for another 12 months. Once it does, the frost and snow, cold enough to make Santa Claus shiver, will make way for excruciating heat. Global warming. You've heard the term before. But a rise in temperature this drastic will be the final nail in the coffin for many of the creatures that have survived thus far. If you have made it this far, pat yourself on the back. But don't relax. Your future remains wildly unpredictable. The one thing we can be certain of is that our planet is a whole lot tougher than we are. Perhaps even tougher than those cunning cockroaches. Though we may not, Earth will survive our asteroid, and from the ashes, a new world will rise. Who will be there to build it? That's a question that right now, no one can answer.